Yeah. So here we need more analysis of The Silence of the Lambs. Okay. And we need to look at why it was groundbreaking in the way that it was. And what you're going to say is going to be something along the lines of the casting of Jodie Foster, who is, in Hollywood terms, a powerful figure. It was a kind of significant piece of casting. You need to say that it was based on a book by Thomas Harris called Hannibal, and maybe just find out a little bit about what. We'll have a look now. How it was changed from the original book, and particularly you need to get something from Jonathan Demme, the director. So. There. Okay. Sorry, I'm skimming through. My wife just finds it very annoying when she reads for a living and she can't believe that I do this. I'm not really taking anything in, I'm just looking for words. Jonathan Demme is my favourite woman director. He was able to see that Silence of the Lambs is about a woman. That's quite interesting. Yeah, so that's here. You can just so what I'm looking for is this is the guy who wrote it. Here's the book. Okay. There we go. All right. So it was different. So there's in a Rolling Stone interview with the screenplay writer, bloody blah, whatever his name is. What's his name? Ted Tally. He says, yes, he was asked, it was different to see, there was a strong, bold woman leading the way. Yeah, that was unusual at the time. Since then, it's happened more often. I had a conversation with Jonathan years ago about how this movie broke so many rules about how to make an effective Hollywood thriller. It's very talky, it's very intellectual. There are no car chases or explosions. The main character is a woman rather than a man. She's never in direct physical danger until the end of the movie. It just broke all the rules. Boom. I would quote that whole thing, and put it in because that's what it did. It was like, she really wasn't in physical contact. That first scene where she meets him, they've got the glass between them. And there is only the end when Buffalo Bill, where she goes into the house, that she is, that he threatens her and she just shoots him. He never gets hold of her, does he? Okay. So let's put that here. Yeah.
Okay.
So that fills us in on Silence of the Lambs. Headstrong is a bit of a pejorative term, so I would say independent, self-reliant, something like that. And both represented a huge change from the passive, not minor characters, because you'd often have a lead character, but they're more passive. They're more like Madeline in Vertigo. They just have things done to them. They don't do much. Okay, I would take this sentence out and I would just start talking about the Hunger Games now. Yeah, okay, good. You've got some good stuff there. Now, I would disagree with some of it, though, again.
Okay.
And I would say, here's what you're going to do with Katniss. I would say the film Lionsgate approached the Hunger Games, which has a significant female protagonist, Katniss Everdeen, played by Jennifer Lawrence, because it was already a trilogy, because the books were adapted from Suzanne Collins' 3 books, which meant that they knew that the character was going to develop over time. And because it was for a young adult audience, it meant that there was a longer story arc for her than there was for Ripley. So, for example, Ripley's on a ship, aliens try and kill everyone, Ripley manages to get away. Okay? The Hunger Games is much more elaborate than that, and it's a much more complex story. So the first thing you should say, well, it's for a young adult audience, which means you're not really representing a woman, you're representing someone who's becoming a woman. And we see her make a very adult decision at the very beginning of the film when she stands in as tribute for Prim. Okay? And the romantic stuff actually comes later than that. Okay, it sort of marks her out as someone who's saying, I'm going to be a woman, and it combines then the action hero stuff that we talked about with Ripley. She's intellectual, she's a hunter, you're quite right to say that, but she's a thinker as well, and she's fantastically skilled with a bow and arrow, but the two are woven together. Yes, she is an old-fashioned romantic in an old-fashioned romantic triangle. Both of these guys want to be with her. She can't decide, but she's also an action hero. And so I think that's the approach you need to take with this bit, because what you seem to be saying here is it's much more of a love triangle. I'm just reading this. This is a good quote, But what you're saying about the love triangle, I think, one, I would say about Lionsgate's approach, and it was a completely different thing from those 2 films because they had a franchise on the go. 2, I would say it's a young adult piece aimed for the young adult audience, so it's all about becoming a woman rather than being a woman making choices as a woman. 3, I would say it has its cake and eats it because it's an action film. It's an action adventure thriller, but it has a romantic triangle in the middle of it. So it gets an audience who are interested in both those things. And then we need a conclusion.
Okay.
And then we're done.
Okay.
All right. 18 seconds. Last thing to say, reorganize this. Okay. You need your 3 films with about 50 words at the beginning of this.
Okay.
And I haven't got any primary research where you've kind of interviewed anyone, but we can do that in a bit.